Hi, my name is Wendy. I coach people who are going through significant life changes. It's anyone who's dealing with that. And I coach people who are in transition to the opposite gender. So today's, I'm going to talk about transition and your marriage. Um, whether or not you are in your 30s or your 70s or anywhere in between. If you transition, you're also likely to be married. If you're like me, you believed that marriage and having a wife, having a family, all of that would help you forget all about being a woman. Um, and it was a desperate attempt to fit into social norms. Well, I'm sorry to tell you this, but nobody goes through transition without some loss. And so what about your marriage? What does that mean to your marriage? Let's get real about this. Let's get real about this, people. You married a cisgender woman, a woman who was born female, who was socialized from childhood into womanhood to expect to be married to a man, have a husband, have a family, and all the societal norms that she was expected to fit into. Well, you just blew that all up with your announcement of transitioning. So now what? Over the years, I've seen so many go into what I call save the marriage mode. And it only ends in divorce. That's true for most of us. It's very rare that anyone stays together. It's quite the exception. And so let's talk about it from the wife's perspective. Well, your wife's perspective on this is very simple. She has to go and change her entire mindset. So let's get real about this. She's got a lot to deal with to do that. Um, she's got to break all of the things that she was brought up to believe. And she is now losing her husband. That's a fact. You might still try to say you're the same person. That's bullshit. If you're doing it right, you're going to change. And yes, she also has to face concerns and questions from friends and family, such as, how long have you known this? How do you feel about it? And are you a lesbian now? And she also has to change her mindset completely to loving the person, not the gender. We are a binary society and so much is tied to gender. So to expect a person who was raised from birth as female to get past that, it's highly unlikely. And it's very rare. So she can say to you from day one, I'm not a lesbian. I am not going to be married to a woman and I want a divorce. Okay. Or she can start putting up resistance. You can't do this. Or I'll accept you doing this to a degree. And she puts conditions on it. And those conditions can be things like, I'm not going to stay married to you if you do HRT or if you do voice therapy, or if you start going out in public as a woman. I'm not going to have anything to do with it. We're getting a divorce. And that's her way of confining your transition. She can put on requirements like go into boy mode when we go here, and then you can go back to girl mode later. Yeah, right. Okay, that's conditional acceptance. And it's potentially damaging to you psychologically, and it definitely will restrict your transition from becoming what you need it to be. And staying married like that means you are still tied to your past. It's still coming forward with you, and it's something that you need to let go of. So unless your wife can actually get to a point where she totally accepts who you are, allows you to do whatever you need to do to feel whole and complete, you're better off just saying, move on and let's get divorced. Because what I found was transition plus my divorce equaled freedom to be me. And it's your freedom to be yourself. For the first time in your life, you might actually love yourself. It's wonderful when that happens. So, and after decades of being married, I found I actually loved being alone. I loved having time to myself. And I also loved not having to answer to anybody for where I was going, what I was doing, and when I would be back. That's the joy of living alone and finding yourself. You need to get into yourself, be selfish for yourself, and then you will truly transition and transition well. My ex-wife actually said to me recently that she was very glad we got divorced, and I never, ever could have transitioned as well had we stayed married. That's her statement. And I knew it. When she said she wanted a divorce, I was happy and I moved on. And that was the reason why. So I've known people too who go through years of struggling to try and stay married and still working at it. And it's a constant effort. And then 2, 3, 4 years later, they get divorced. And it was for a reason that had nothing to do with the transition. So why did you even bother? How much was that worth it? And how much did it cost you in your transition? So I recommend that you start facing your new life head on. Just get there and do it. And do it for yourself. Think of yourself and go forward and let your past go. And by the way, your wife will be fine without you. She'll move on too. She'll find her new life. And who knows, if you were able to divorce a man amicably, you might actually stay friends in the long run. So focus on your future and focus on going forward. And are you really that scared to lose your wife? Do you view her as a safety net? Ask yourself those questions too. If you need help with this, if you need help with any of your transition, I can definitely help you with that. If you want to talk about how to change your mindset, etc., I can help you with that as well. So I'll be doing more videos and talking to you more about what's going on. And thanks for listening and thanks for watching. Bye.